Alright, so this is my Harbor Freight dust collector. I'm going to tear it down completely and get it back to bare bones. I've had several requests to show how I assembled it. I think I'm going to assemble it back just a little bit different configuration. I think it'll be a smoother assembly and more efficient, and able to see how I did it better. So we'll go with that. All right, everybody, this is Matt with Wackey Worx. Today we're going to redo the dust collection system in my shop. This here is the Harbor Freight dust collector, exactly like you'd get it out of the box, except for it is elevated. There's several different ways to elevate it. April Wilkerson has a way of showing how to elevate it, and so does DIY Tyler. All I've done is I've mounted the motor against the wall, and I've mounted the shroud against the wall that separates the filter from the collection for this phase 1 dust collector. Now, phase 1 dust collector, all that means is that it doesn't separate the particles. It just, everything that comes into it goes into that bag and into that filter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to measure this as is, as stock, and then I'm going to do upgrades onto it and show you how the performance changes as we go. So let's get on with that. All right, guys, so I've moved my dust collector from the corner of my shop, which I had a split in it within the first 3 feet and had a pipe going each way. This way, it's on this side and it sucks all the way around. Now, what I've done is I have removed the propeller and I've gotten it back down to stock, because what I want to do is show you what it is at stock, what it is as I upgrade it throughout the stages, and if it goes down. And I will actually put in the prices of every single piece that I put into it, so you know whether or not it's a deal or not. All right, so the first thing is Harbor Freight stock. The box says, the store says, the website says that it's 1,500 CFMs. Now, CFM is measured by the volume of air that is moving through a pipe. So what is that? That's cubic feet per minute. So our volume would be time, and our surface area, which would be the diameter of the pipe. So if you put those two together, so you have to figure out the size, the diameter of your pipe. Now, I have taped this and had to redo it. And the reason that I'm redoing it now is because I ran a 4-inch line. On the 4-inch line, I used an anemometer. There you go. Hard word to say, don't use it very often. And it comes with 5 blades on it. You can see there's only 3. That's because the volume going through a 4-inch pipe pulls out so much velocity that it ripped the fan blades right off the anemometer. So I increased it to a 5-inch. Now, the reading is going to be the same overall. It'll still show the same CFM, but my volume, or my surface area, increases, so my volume stays the same overall, but my velocity slows down a little bit. And that's all that means, is you're still pushing the same amount of air or volume through the pipe. You just increase the pipe, kind of like you do an interstate. You have an interstate, it's got 1 lane going each way. Lots of cars trying to get down it. Well, I turn that interstate and get 2 lanes going each way. It allows for it to move up more efficiently. So that's what I've done. Okay? And you can check the math. I'll leave all the math on the screen here. Basically, it went from 0.0862, I believe it is. I'll correct that over here, to 0.1363. So that's my multiplier. That's my surface area in square feet. So the reading I get all from this, or this anemometer, there we go, actually allows you to punch in that surface area, and then it'll automatically calculate out the CFMs for you. Or I can do it the other way, and I'll show you how to do that. So Harbor Freight is hooked up. It is factory. The bag is on it. The bag for collection is on it. The 10-inch propeller is inside of it. This is a 5-inch steel pipe, 5 foot long. And we are going to turn it on, measure the CFM, and see what we get. So let's do that. All right, so here we have the anemometer, and you can see what it's got, and it's got the cubic footage or square footage already plugged into the top. And so it's going to read CFM. So what I'm going to hit is the min max, so it'll hold the max hold onto it. And I turn the dust collector on. So what does that say? That says that stock out of the box, it runs 1146. Now, that's 1146 CFMs. And it says that CFM right there. Now, Harbor Freight says that it gets 1500. Now, what does that mean? That means that they probably tested it with no bag. They tested it with no pipe. They had no restrictions on it whatsoever, because if something's going in and something's slowing it down, it's obviously not going to be as much. So that's why it states that it's a 1500, when in actuality you're probably getting about 1100 CFMs. So that is our stock number to start with. Now I'm going to, at this point, install an Oneida dust separator. Now, what that does is it changes it from a one-stage dust collector, one stage meaning everything goes through that pipe right there, through the motor and propellers and down into the bag. This allows, under vacuum, the material comes in here, right there, comes in there, and it separates and falls down in a vacuum, and the air is still sucked up through the top into the motor. So you may get some smaller particles that go up top, but you don't get as large of particles going through your propeller, getting into your dust collector, which is this dust collector here. Stock is a 5 micron bag. I plan on installing a 0.5 micron or 0.3 micron, a MER 15 filter. But we'll go over that here in a little while. I'm going to go ahead and install the 5-inch Dust Deputy onto the machine, and then install a 5-inch pipe, or 5-inch diameter pipe, 5 foot of it, and we'll take our readings from over here from now on. That way I still have that 5 foot of pipe that I'm measuring from. I want to stay consistent with all my measurements. Okay, so the only thing that I've done, the bag is still the same, but we've got a Oneida 5-inch dust separator, cyclone, sitting here, and then the 5 foot of 5-inch pipe comes out to here. And so I'll turn it back on, and I'll take my reading, and we'll find out exactly what it's getting out of that if using the Oneida has dropped it. My speculation is it's going to drop it a little bit, because you're basically forcing air down and then back up. So it's like a hard 90. So usually that's a big no-no when it comes down to dust collection. So let's check it out. All right. So that died down very considerably. So what it did is it died down to 634.7. I didn't expect it to die down that much, but apparently it did. But what does that mean? Is there a way to fix that? And I believe there is. I believe that the surface area of a 23-inch by 17.5-inch filter is almost 4 times what that bag is. Okay? So therefore it's allowing more air to go through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the air change the bag over to a filter. And we'll see how that does that. All right, so all I've done is take off the 5 micron bag from Harbor Freight, and I have changed it out with a 0.3 to 0.7 micron filter. So what that means is it's going to collect more of the dust that goes out into our air that we breathe. It's going to collect all that, and when it turns off, some of it will fall down in here. You might have to end up blowing some of it out, make a schedule to blow it out, and it'll work a lot better. And so now our reading is 709. So it went up some. So that means that we're actually getting more air out of the filter, which I assumed we would. So now how can we increase it even more? What I'm going to do is I have another filter sitting right there that I can attach to the bottom and then put a bag underneath that filter, therefore giving me more airflow. And we'll see if it increases it some. And then if it's not enough, I have purchased a Rikon propeller, which will change it from a 10-inch propeller inside this to an 11 3/4 inch propeller, which should give us more airflow. So on to the next step. Okay, so that last one, I redid it because I found a little pinhole. And just to show you what a pinhole will do, now when I say a pinhole, it was a cut in the tape about yay big. What a pinhole will do is it went from 709 to 790.7. So it's quite, substantial. But now I have installed the second filter in the bag for any kind of dust overflow below it. And we're going to take another reading. And that tells me a lot. Okay, so I always thought that adding a second filter at this stage wasn't going to be significant. And this machine has a plus or minus of 24 CFMs. So it's right there in line with what the other one is. So that tells me that filter is really insignificant. So the way to increase it now would be let's take all this out. I'm going to put the propeller back in here, and then I'll put all this back, and I'll bring you back. All right, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is the 10-inch filter inside of the... Next will be the 11.5. Like on top of each other. And you can see I put this one here and flip this one over, that the fins are facing the opposite direction. When you do this, you may need to get a pulley puller. All right, guys. So I went ahead and got the 11 3/4 inch Rikon propeller put into it. The Dust Deputy's on it. It's on my 55-gallon drum still. 5 foot of pipe that's 5 inches in diameter. Let's run a test on it. 1178. CFMs. So that brings us back close to what it was originally doing, with no separation, no filter, really filter for the shop. And so I think I'm pleased with that. Okay. The only other way that I know to increase it more is there is a manufacturer that makes this piece, this shroud piece right here. It's a 5-inch inlet, and you can go to a 6-inch inlet. You can go up to a 10, but I don't think the fans will carry a 10. But it'll go up to a 6-inch inlet. Therefore, the pipe that comes out of the Oneida is a 6-inch, and I have to reduce it down to a 4-inch to get, or a 5-inch to hook it up. So that piece is, I think, $23 on Amazon. I'm going to try to see if I can't get that. I've looked so far, and it's been out of stock for the last week. I was trying to get it here for this video, but this is my dust collector. I'm pretty pleased with it. 1,178 CFMs. All right, guys. If you get a chance, go over and check out Joey Gonzales. He's got a video going on right now as well on the same thing, same dust collection. He's using the Harbor Freight. He's got an amazing shop over there, but he's upgrading that Harbor Freight to same thing for a CNC machine. And he's using a Grizzly cyclone, a Grizzly cyclone, and a Grizzly filter on his, which his is a self-cleaning filter. It's got a rack on it that cleans it up. So go check him out. I'll leave a description or a little card up here, and I'll also leave his video at the end of this video here. Check him out. He's got an amazing shop, great stuff going on over there. Check out Joey, he's real good. All right, we're back one more time. I've stopped Joey Gonzales with Steelblade Woodworks. He did it. He sent it to me. I couldn't get it online. The part is on back order. It's actually not even letting you order it or anything right now. So Joey made one. He made a 6-inch port that'll fit the Harbor Freight dust collector. So that piece right there will come out, and this piece will become 6 inches all the way up. Right now, it is 6 inches from right here, and it's 5 inches right there in diameter. This will make it 6 inches all the way down, therefore causing the intake to be continuous 6 inches and should increase the airflow. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and backtrack and take a measurement again. But I have come up with something amazing here. I go from a 5-inch to a 4-inch PVC, and I'm coming down my 4-inch PVC over here, and I have a blast gate at the end of it. I'm going to take 2 measurements on that. Actually, it's going to be 3 overall. It'll be one at the blast gate, one at the 4-inch, and one at the 5-inch. And I'll have all those numbers written down. The reason being is I noticed that when you do the measurement at the 4-inch, I have pretty good readings. But when I go to the blast gate, the blast gate is only 3.5 inches in diameter. You do the calculation on that, and it actually reduces the amount of volume that's going through the pipe. I think I've come up for a fix for that, but I'm going to do some prototyping on that, and that'll be later on. But I'm going to probably come up with my own blast gates. 5955. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it right here at the 4-inch reducer. From that point on, from 779.2, it maxes it out, but it's saying its last readable reading 779.2 CFMs. So I got 1120 on this one. On the last one, I got 1178. So we're pretty consistent based off from 1178 to 1120. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install the 6-inch port and see what difference that makes. So let's go to do that. All right, so what I did is I installed this upgrade right here. This is there, right there. That's a 6-inch sanitary sewer line, PVC Schedule 40, and that is a 6-inch duct flange, and that sits over top of that 6-inch inside diameter. So it is actually sucking up exactly 6 inches in diameter all the way up. Let's see if it increased it any. Well, that's disappointing. No change at all. So with it not having any change, what does that mean? It means that we're bringing as much air into there as we possibly can. What's exiting is not exiting fast enough. And I think the reason for that is because, here, this is a 6-inch all the way up. Outgoing this way is a 5-inch. So we're bringing in 5 inches of air, we're allowing 6 inches to escape. So your volume is more trying to pull up into it, so it should be coming in faster. But what is exiting into the filters? This is a 4.5 by 6 1/4 square pipe, or square exiting mechanism, however you want to call that. And what's exiting out of that is it's choked down to a 5-inch diameter pipe, which then goes into the filter shroud at 5 inches in diameter. So no matter how hard that you try to cram, you're only going to allow to get so much traffic down that road. So I think the only other thing that I could do to upgrade this would be to change that shroud out to a general. They make a general that goes from square to square, which that 4.5 by 6 1/2, 6 1/4 would actually be a larger volume to upgrade this. But I'm happy with these numbers. I really am. I'm happy. I'm at 1120. 1120 is right where I want to be at. So I think we're good. We're going to call this one a day. I think the 6-inch would be beneficial if you haven't upgraded your propeller, because I think you'll have to go check Joey's video out. I'll leave a link to his video to do this. He's done the same thing I've done, same exact, except for he used a Grizzly instead of an Oneida Cyclone, and he used the Grizzly filter instead of a Wynn Environmental filter. They are the same micron, they are the same MERV rating, but it's just a different company. That's all it boils down to. But he has the same 6-inch port on the bottom. He built it. We were kind of collaborating together on this, and we came up with the same idea. They had this shroud for sale. It's not for sale because you can't get the thing right now. So he built it. I said that was amazing. We wanted to try it with a bigger propeller, so he sent me one, and he did a great job at that. But it doesn't increase it because I don't think it increases the airflow out. I think we've maxed out the machine for what it'll do with the exiting perimeters that we have on it. So that being said, like I said, I am happy with this. I am unhappy with the blast gates. Right there. I think that I can do it better. I mean, I'm losing, it looks like I'm losing about 180 CFMs, which doesn't seem like a lot, but actually, I mean, that's a lot. I just, I think we're maxed out for the machine for what I'm willing to do for it. I think it's amazing what we've done to it. We've upgraded up to a 2-phase dust collector. So it's dropping the big particles. I've had this thing running now for 2 weeks and I got nothing in the bag. So all the big particles are dropping down into the 55-gallon drum. We've upgraded the filtering system. The filters now are 0.3 to 0.5 micron, which is a MERV 15. All that means is fancy for it cleans the air better. The original bag on it was 5 micron, and we've reduced that by 1/10 or 10 times to go down to 0.5 micron. Also, we have increased the propeller size. We've increased the air filter size by allowing 4 times. Those filters are pleated. Therefore, it's just about calculates out to 4 times the amount of surface area that it was on the bag. So you're trading off cleaner air, and it's choking it down more, but it's allowing more surface area, so it allows it to about the same amount. It was a little lower, actually, but I think it was a little lower because of the Oneida choked it down so much, because you're bringing air in, dropping it down, and bringing it back straight back up. So you're basically turning the air at 180 degrees, which, as we've said, moving air, changing its direction slows it down tremendously. It's just like you driving a car around a curve. You're going to slow down around a curve compared to as fast as you could on a straightaway. So we've got that. We've dropped it down, and then we've increased the propeller size. I increased the propeller size to the Rikon 11 3/4 propeller instead of the 10-inch propeller that came with it. It also changed the directions of the filter, of the propeller itself. Before it was cupping and leaving an air pocket, and now it's pulling and sucking through an air pocket. It increased it tremendously. I'll leave all the numbers and stuff. I'm going to put them here. But basically, we started out at 1146 CFMs stock. We added the Oneida and dropped all the way down to 634, almost cut it in half. We added the first filter and went up to 790.7. We added the second filter and saw no change whatsoever. We then added the propeller, and we shot up to 1178 CFMs. And so then we tried using the 6-inch all the way up, and we're still at about 1170 all the way through. So I think we've proven what it does. I think the upgrades, there's on the market right now, there's nothing that can really touch the CFMs on this. That is a 2-stage that can handle what we got in this. Maybe there is. If there is, point it out down below, and maybe you can show us exactly how you did it. But this is how I was able to increase what I have, and I am running an entire shop off from this. So if you look at my dust collection system, I am running an entire shop off this. That's my bandsaw. It's not only my bandsaw, it comes on down for the floor, and it's my router, my table saw, my planer, and my joiner. Plus, additionally, I have a sander, 1 lathe, and it comes on over. I have an additional one in case I want to add something to it, and it drops down for this lathe. Plus I have a third lathe on it. So this will split and go to 2 different lathes. I have it disconnected right now because I ran out of blast gates and such for the whole entire system. But with all of that on there, I'm still pulling at a blast gate. I'm still pulling 603 CFMs. We'll just call it 600 to call it even. So I think that's a pretty good system, especially choked down to 4-inch. If I could have ran 5-inch the whole way, I would have spent a lot more money. These pipe right, the sewer pipe, it's a thin wall sewer pipe, runs like $10 for 10 foot. The fittings on it are pretty cheap. They're about $3 to $4, maybe $5 a piece, unless you get a Y. A Y is like I think 11. But to get all that put in and to do what we're doing, I think it's a pretty good system for the money. Could I do better? Of course. Who couldn't? But you're going to pay for it. You're definitely going to pay for that system. So that's my system, guys. Please go check out Joey. He has got something really going on over there with that CNC, and he's building his whole entire shop up. He's building an additional section inside that shop. Go check him out. He's doing really good. I'll leave a link to his video. I think I left it earlier, but I'll leave a link to him down below. And that's about all I got. So y'all have a good one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Put that little notification bell if you want to see some more stuff going on. We're always doing some wacky stuff here. So y'all have a good one.